You guys probably know that pretty much on a daily basis, we are getting requests and reach outs from all sorts of different kinds of brands. So most of the time we don't work with a lot of the ones that come to us. But one that stood out to us a couple weeks back, or actually a couple months back really, was this TRUWILD brand that reached out to us, and we've been testing out their products. They were nice enough to send over a lot of their line, including a few different flavors of their Motion, their Hydrate, which is an electrolyte product, and sent over a bunch of blended capsules like their Baselayer immune product and this adaptogen blend, which I have been absolutely loving. So TRUWILD, off the bat, I was kind of struck with, maybe I thought this was like another gimmicky company. Their whole thing is about outdoorsiness, right? And so my question is like, well, what is different about outdoors stuff than indoors activities, right? But when I took a closer look at it, I was a fan of where things are sourced from. I was a really big fan of Motion, which is the product I want to talk about today. It's not a pre-workout, it's an outdoor active fuel powder that's intending to increase endurance and performance and help you with whether it's extreme sports out or hiking or whatever. Because for me, my interest in this is that, I don't talk about this a lot on the channel, but I love to get out into nature for landscape photography, nature photography, drone footage, but I love hiking. I've been able to get out to Sedona, but I really enjoy when I travel getting out and doing photography. And so this really piqued my interest, and I really enjoyed the ones that I got to try from them. So I'm gonna cut the brand talk here, and I'm gonna get in talking about Motion. So yeah, let's roll the intro. Let's get talking a little bit about what this product is.
Welcome to PricePlow.
So I want to set the tone really right for this product, because when I started this breakdown, at first I was thinking the same thing that you guys are thinking. It's a pre-workout, right? It's gonna be very similar to pre-workout, and some of the dosages weren't where I'd want them to be for pre-workout. But after talking with them over there, they really showed me what the product was for. And when you start looking at the ingredients within that scope and the science that is supporting that, it's actually pretty efficacious. So jumping into TRUWILD's Motion, if you look at the supplement facts panel, all right, this is a proprietary blend here. The whole thing is proprietary blend. And when I got on the call with them, I was very honest with them that I didn't really want to be reviewing a proprietary blend because it doesn't go very well for myself or for the company, really. I don't usually know what's in it, and formula usually ends up being bad because of that. So what was funny about it was they were immediately like, oh, it's not like we're hiding it, it's just that there's so much stuff in it, we weren't able to fit it on the bag if it was fully disclosed. So they actually sent over to us the entire formula. It's on our blog on Heather's write-up, and I'm also gonna go through it in this video to give you an idea of the stuff that's in it. Again, I'm gonna bring the scope of this video back to, this is outdoor active fuel. At some points in this video, you're gonna think, well, that's not a good dose for pre-workout, and you're absolutely right. If we were taking this for weight training, I would 100% agree. But there is some studies to suggest that these ingredients these are actually great for endurance, maybe not for pumping weight in the gym, but that's not what we're doing here. So I can definitely say for myself that if I want to take something before I go out hiking, especially as someone who already has a hard time not getting pumped up from long walks, I definitely don't want much more nitric oxide. So let's start off with the first blend here, which is gonna be the extended endurance blend. Now the first ingredient here is isomaltulose, which is palatinose. It's a branded palatinose, which my video with Joey Savage, when I was out at Zero Day Nutra, the contract manufacturer in Stafford, Texas, we talked a little bit about palatinose as a carbohydrate source. Now this is a low glycemic, but also naturally sourced carbohydrate, which means that you're not gonna have an insulin spike, you're not gonna have a blood sugar spike and drop. You're safe to drink this and then go perform, right? You're not gonna have a blood sugar drop in the wilderness. Now there's not a lot of carbohydrates from this. You're only gonna get about 3 grams of carbohydrates, but it is a start of carbohydrates. Most people aren't gonna want a lot of carbohydrates from the supplements. You're gonna get a little bit to help out with your glycogen stores, but not enough that it's gonna turn people off to the amount of carbohydrates. Personally, I'd like to see a lot more carbohydrates, but I tolerate carbohydrates very well. So that is at, let's see, 3.15 grams of palatinose. So that ends up about being 3 grams of carbohydrates. Moving to the second ingredient here, we have taurine. Taurine is going to be dosed at 1,500 milligrams. Now, the benefits for taurine, well, if you watch any of my pre-workout videos, you know about them. But they really start at 1 gram. So at a 1,500 milligram dosage here, you're really getting into the healthy dosages of taurine. It's gonna help a lot with endurance. It's gonna help keep this sheath of water on you, keeps very hydrated. There's even some cognitive benefits from using taurine. At this dose, super happy with taurine. I'm a big fan of taurine. I can never get enough of taurine. Super stoked when we opened up this formula to see that it was over a gram dosage. Now, after that we have citrulline malate. Now, citrulline malate is normally something that I am not a fan of because I want to get as much raw, pure citrulline in my body as possible for weight training. Citrulline in that case is for blood flow, and any sort of malic acid being mixed into citrulline malate, which remember, there is no bond in citrulline malate existing in the world anymore. It's just gonna be malic acid mixed in. It's just basically watering down the citrulline. Now, malic acid in this case actually plays a critical role in ATP production via the citric acid cycle. Now, that could be beneficial here. We don't actually know the blend of citrulline here, so I'm gonna guess it's a 2-to-1 ratio, which would give us about a gram of citrulline and 500 milligrams of malic acid. That's definitely enough to give you a little bit of a benefit with the malic acid on some cellular energy level. You're getting a gram of citrulline. Now, I know you're already saying, that's too low of citrulline. But actually a study back in 2019 showed, and I've got it on my phone here so I can reference it a little bit easier. This isn't one that I reference very often because of the dosage here. 1.2 grams of citrulline and arginine over a 10-week cycle in male collegiate soccer players led to a pretty significant increase in endurance. They reported lower leg muscle soreness and also ease of pedaling went down. So their perception of soreness went down and their perception of the actual difficulty of the exercise over time, and this is, you know, an endurance exercise, which is super relatable to hiking or surfing or whatever you're doing with your outdoor active fuel. It's super relatable. Normally relating, you know, these cycling studies to a minute-long set, it doesn't really translate very well, but in this case it does. Now, I referenced it being a 1.2 gram blend of citrulline and arginine. Arginine is the next ingredient here at 500 milligrams. So not only does citrulline and arginine have studies from like the Velox studies showing that together they had an even better benefit than just one or the other on their own, but you're also seeing endurance benefits here, which is a pretty big deal. Now, typically we're not really big fans of arginine here. Arginine has poor absorption. We prefer usually some sort of like nitrosogene to get it into the system, but in this case we're just using the arginine and citrulline for an endurance benefit and a very small benefit of blood flow. So in this case, obviously, it makes a little bit more sense. But I really wouldn't recommend this to you if you are going to be weight training at all. Possibly if you're some sort of cyclist or something like that. But really here, we're trying to put enough into the product that we are benefiting your endurance and giving you enough blood flow to deliver nutrients to the muscles, but not so much that you're getting pumped up. Your legs, I mean, I've been there. My quads and hamstrings get so pumped. My lower back gets really pumped. These long hikes. It's not a good deal to be getting a pump during a hike. But if you can get some in here to help with blood flow, help keep that blood moving instead of staying in those areas and increasing endurance, definitely a good idea. Now we finish off this extended endurance blend with a beetroot extract at a 1% nitrate extraction. Now we all know nitrates are super beneficial for blood flow, and this dose is gonna be at 50 milligrams here. So we're not getting a ton of nitrates here, but there are a lot of benefits to nitrates in terms of endurance as well, not just pumps. I know that we use it mostly for pumps, but again, don't need a ton of pump here. These are in the extended endurance blend, not a pump blend. This isn't a pre-workout pump blend. I cannot say that enough. So, moving forward into the hydration and recovery blend, we have something called Covico, which is a trademarked coconut water powder. At a gram here, you're gonna have coconut water, which is full of all sorts of different, which is really rich in electrolytes, making it a very important ingredient for people who are gonna be outdoors, moving around and sweating. When you sweat, not only do you lose water, but you also lose minerals and electrolytes, so you need to restore those. Total in this, we actually have from a few different sources, 42 milligrams of sodium and 100 milligrams of potassium. Now those are slightly coming from the coconut water powder, but it's also coming from a few other sources in here like the pink Himalayan salt, as well as the potassium and sodium chloride, of course. Now lastly, following that, we have pomegranate powder at a 4-to-1 paracap extraction. Pomegranates are full of polyphenols and possess quite a few different health benefits, namely boosting recovery. So this is obviously something you're drinking before you go out, but it's going to already start the recovery process in terms of lowering soreness, accelerating recovery, and actually some performance boosts in high-level weightlifters as well. Not really sure if that really benefits these guys here, but this is gonna help a lot with combating inflammation and oxidative stress, which you're obviously gonna be putting your body into when you train, move really hard, create any sort of stress towards your body. We really rarely see pomegranate extracts in pre-workouts. This, again, isn't a pre-workout, but in any sort of pre-exercise supplementation. So this stood out a little bit to us, especially because they noted the actual extraction ratio here, which shows that they actually did go for something that has a actual active ingredient in it and not just some cheap extract without an standardization. Now, the Natural Performance Blend is full of all sorts of mushrooms that you will recognize as the blend for Pico 2. It finishes it off with turkey tail, which means it is the American version, not the EU version. The EU version doesn't have turkey tail in it for whatever reason. It's an issue for their compliance. Pico 2 at a gram here, obviously coming from Compound Solutions, is a really popular mushroom blend. Now, Pico 2 helps with oxygen uptake and reducing lactic acid accumulation. The University of North Carolina found that time to exhaustion was greatly increased when taking Pico 2, as well as VO2 max and power output. This is a really good option for people who don't enjoy the beta-alanine tangles. I'm not here to say that one or the other is best or that they are like competitors on each other. They work in completely different pathways. But if you're looking for something to increase power output and in time to exhaustion, but you don't like the tingles of beta-alanine, this could be a choice for you. Not that beta-alanine wouldn't have worked in this formula, probably would as well, but it isn't necessary pre-workout. You could use it all day long. In this case, I'm just happy that they were able to put it in this product and still flavor it enough to taste good. The product does taste good. You probably won't notice that there's a ton of mushrooms in it. At least for myself, I didn't, but I'm a little more callous to bad tasting things. I would drink my own urine if it made me perform better. So your mileage may vary, but in my opinion, they formulated it and flavored it very well, even with a large blend of mushrooms in it. Now, two of the last blends in here, they're pretty small, but they are the Recharge Electrolytes blend and the Absorption Matrix. The Recharge Electrolytes blend is gonna have sodium chloride, potassium chloride, and pink Himalayan salt. Sodium chloride and potassium chloride are obviously sodium and potassium that are just with a chloride molecule to help get them into your body. Like I said before, you're getting 42 milligrams of sodium and 100 milligrams of potassium. It's not a lot of sodium. If you are an active individual, I would definitely recommend that you are still taking in sodium around your day to make sure that you're staying hydrated. But 100 milligrams of potassium is a significant dose. 100 milligrams yielding of potassium is a significant dose. I'm gonna say that again. It's a lot of potassium. So if you are sensitive to potassium, just know you're getting a lot of potassium in here. But it's really good because it's gonna help you stay hydrated. It's gonna help with your heart, lowers blood pressure if you have hypertension. A lot of people forget that sodium and potassium need to be used in a certain ratio to maintain not only hydration and muscle contractions, but also health. It's really bad if you're taking all sodium all the time. Believe me, I've done it, and now I supplement with potassium as well. In the end here, they've got Himalayan pink salt. Pink Himalayan salt is what I would call it. I'm not sure where they switched the words around, but it's not a huge dose because totally you're getting, well, I know the dosage is here because we have them listed all out. 25 milligrams of pink Himalayan salt is not a lot. It's not gonna do all that much for you. It's gonna deliver a little bit extra of the things you're not getting from the sodium chloride and potassium chloride. There's some other trace minerals you might be getting, but this is probably the only ingredient that I would say is maybe underdosed and I would put more in. Last, you got your absorption matrix here, which is gonna be bioperin, black pepper extract, which is gonna be 5 milligrams. At 5 milligrams, you get a lot of different benefits. It's been studied with a lot of different ingredients. Could help with amino acids in here, could help with a lot of different stuff. Just making sure that your body is absolutely absorbing it. Now, one blend I forgot to do, which is right before the Recharge Electrolytes, is the Natural Energy Blend. Here, you're going to be getting Vegisurge Natural Caffeine, which is a trademarked natural caffeine from green coffee bean extract. You're getting 160 milligrams of natural caffeine. Natural caffeines for me work a little bit more intensely. I think it's because of the entourage of different natural constituents that come from green tea extract, but that's just anecdotal. I haven't seen science to back that. It's just something that I added to these videos. It is 160 milligrams, but I'd expect it to feel a little bit more like 200 milligrams. After that, we've got theanine in here. They added 75 milligrams of theanine. Now, that's a kind of like a 2-to-1 ratio of caffeine to theanine, which is normally what I appreciate. Some people are gonna complain that it's a low caffeine amount to have theanine added in, but I don't see it really as a problem because if you are doing articulate stuff like climbing rocks, mountain biking, surfing, stuff like that, to keep you calm, kind of similar to gaming supplements, I like to have some theanine to keep me calm. I'm not barging into the gym and go lift a ton of weights. In that case, I wouldn't like theanine. In this case, I don't really mind it because it keeps me level-headed, keeps me appreciating the scenery, and it's kind of nice. They finished it off with some green tea extract. Green tea extract has EGCG in it, which helps with a lot of just health benefits, but also with fat loss. There's only 50 milligrams of green tea extract here, so don't expect this to be a full fat burner though. It's gonna just kind of support the energy from the natural caffeine. You'll find it like more of an entourage effect from these other extracts in here. And lastly, we've got yerba mate leaf extract, which is obviously a pretty old herbal extract used in a lot of different herbally types of benefits. There's about 20% caffeine, I'm pretty sure, in yerba mate, so that's going to be lending to the 160 milligrams of natural source caffeine. Overall, it's just going to kind of support that natural caffeine and make it add a little bit more energy to that, not just the caffeine dosage from the other natural constituents of yerba mate. So overall, I hope I did this justice for you guys. This is interesting for me. I thought it was pretty cool. I took it and went out and did stuff. I kind of also just took it and worked as well. It's not a super intense pre-workout like we talk about a lot, but I think this is a little bit of a different application of science, which I'm a fan of. I don't talk a lot about my love for nature and getting out, but this one kind of struck with me, and I want to talk about it a little bit. We've really enjoyed the products, not only this, but also the Hydrate and the adaptogen blend, the Baselayer. I think that a lot of the stuff in here has been pretty cool. I appreciate the naturally sourced stuff. I'm not always a natural person. I appreciate whatever is going to be most bioavailable and helpful for me, but I do appreciate the ethical sourcing of stuff, and sometimes it does have a bit of a better effect because of the natural constituents involved in the extract. With that all said, if you did enjoy the video, please let me know. I like a little bit of feedback. This is my first soiree into this more natural brand of stuff. We do have a whole blog post on this if you want to read Heather's side of stuff. I do sometimes use it as a bit of a outline to do my video off of, but if you want to read a little bit more, that's available to you as well. In any case, I'm rounding out on a little over 20 minutes, and I don't want to take this for too long. It was a really long formula, but I appreciate the product, and I wanted to give it justice on what the formulator put into it. If you would like to learn more about them, you go to PricePlow.com/TruWild. It's TRUWILD. There's no E. It's TruWild, no E. In any case, I really appreciate you guys watching the whole video, and have a great day.
Welcome to PricePlow.